guys, and welcome to week 11 of our lecture. This unit will tackle real-world examples for if and while loop, as well as discuss the basics of doing simulation in order for you to come up with the output of your program visually and mentally without needing a compiler. Okay, simulation. When we are doing a simulation in programming, we visually represent our variables and the changes in values that happens in our variables. We cross out the old values and set the new values until we can come up with our output. So these are the sample problems for it else. The company decided to give bonus of 5% to employee if his or her year of service is more than 5 years. Ask user for their salary and year of service and print the net bonus amount. For our simulation, we need to list all the variables that we are going to use. Now, in this example, I have already set the value for our salary. So, for example, our salary is equals to 500 and the year of service is equals to 10. Okay. Now, if we are to simulate the code that we have given here, what will happen is that, for example, print enter salary. So I print enter salary in our output. The output is in simulation, the output is represented by a box. Okay. So whenever you do a box, it is already designated as the output or the computer screen. And then outside of the box is where we write our variables. So we have the variable salary, okay, is equals to 500, meaning when we print enter salary, okay, we input value to salary. So for example, that's 500. Next, display enter year of service. And then we input for our year of service is 10. Okay. So this two here represents those two input variables. Next is the condition. If year of service is greater than 5, okay, so year of service is greater than 5, so that is equal to year of service is 10. Greater than 5 is 10 greater than 5? That's true. So that's true. What will you do? You print bonus is bonus is 0.05 times the salary. So 0.05 times 500, the answer is 25. Okay. If what we have entered here is a year of service which is less than 5, the output is no bonus. Okay. Next problem. Take two integer values from the user and print the greatest value among them. Okay. So for this program, we have print enter first number. Their first number. So for example, I entered 6. And then for the first number, you will give it to the variable first. So first is equals to 6. Next, enter second number, and then I entered 8. So for 8, we will give it to the variable second. So second equals 8. Next, if first variable is greater than second, first greater than second, so what's the value first? So 6 greater than 8. So that is false. So we go to the another elif condition. Elif second is greater than first, second is greater than first, second is 8 greater than 6, 8 is greater than 6, that is true. So what should we do? We print greatest is the value of second, so that is 8. Okay. So I hope you're catching the logic of how we do simulation. Usually, when a code is presented to you, that is the time when you will prepare the simulation. You cannot simulate without the particular code or the pseudocode. We could use either the code or the pseudocode. By the way, before I go on, okay, I will show you the output for our first if statement. So this is our first if statement to print salary input. Salary is equals to input. Do not forget to convert your input to integer. Otherwise, we will encounter an error because, again, remember, every time we do an input, the resulting variable is of data type string. And we cannot compare a string to a number. We cannot perform operation on a string. We need to convert it using int, open close parentheses. So in this example, we have salary 500, year of services 10. So let us run the program. Salary is 200, year of services 10. The bonus is 25.0. Then for the next problem, we have here enter first number. Again, we convert it to int as well as the second number. For the sample, the value that we have is for the first number, that's 6. Second number, that's 8. Then the answer is greater is 8. Example, we have following problem. A school has following rules for grading system. So below 25, you get an F. For 25 to 45, you get an E. 45 to 50, B. 50 to 60, C. 60 to 80, B. Above 80 is A. So the code for this one is print, enter marks. Marks is equals to input, convert it to integer. If marks is less than 25, that's F. If it is less than or equal to 25, less than 45, E. Less than 50, B. Less than 60, C. Less than 80, B. And for any other grade, you print A. For example, what you got is 90, you get an A. Get 75, you get a B. Next problem, a student will not be allowed to sit in exam if his or her attendance is less than 75%. So we take the following input from the user, the number of classes held, the number of classes attended, and print percentage of class attended. And then a student is allowed to sit in exam or not. Okay. For the code, okay. Variable NOH, number of classes held, variable NOA, number of classes attended. So attendance, percentage of attendance is equals to number of classes attended divided by number of classes held times 100. We print the attendance. Okay. If the attendance is greater than or equal to 75, you're allowed to sit in the exam. Okay. To sit in the exam. If not, the student is not allowed. So, as I said, let's say 50. Our classes attended is 45. You are allowed to sit in the exam. But for example, if it is less than 25, let's say I have 50 classes, I only attended 10. Sorry, you're not allowed. Okay. Fifth problem, we modify the question to allow student to sit if he or she has a medical cause. Ask the user if he or she has medical cause or not using Y or N and print accordingly. Okay, so same logic, however, If the attendance is less than 75, we will ask for medical costs. Okay. Then medical cost is equals to input. We did not convert it to integer. Why? Because we are working with string. If med cost is equals to, take note, capital Y, you are allowed to sit. If not, you're not allowed. Okay. Let us run. So let's say you have 50. I only attended 10. However, I have a medical cost of capital Y. You're allowed. But then if I answered no, you're not allowed. Okay. So in this example, we are creating a basic game where you and the computer picks a number from 1 to 10. Declare the winner as the one with the greater value. So for our code, we use import random because we are going to use a randomizer. So first, we print computer picks a number. So for our output, computer picks a number. First is equals to the value of random, that random integer from 1 to 10. So in our example for simulation, for example, we have pick 7. So first is equals to 7. Next, pick a number from 1 to 10. So the user will input the number and then it will be inside variable second. So for example, second is equals to 8. Pick a number from 1 to 10, then you input 8. Next, we check for the condition. If first is greater than second, first is greater than second, 7 is greater than 8, that's false. If second is greater than first, second is greater than first, 8 is greater than 7, that's true. So that if that's true, what will you do? You will print, you win with the value of second. You win with 8. Okay, so let us try to run the program. So the computer has chosen a number, let's say 4. I'll pick 4. So the computer picks 6, so the computer wins. Again, let's see 8. Okay, I win with 8. While loop. Now, if we are going to make use of while loop, it is already a given that the variable changes value. So in simulation, whenever you are changing a value of a variable from one to another, what you do is you need to cross out the old value and then write the new value so that you will know which is the most recent value. Okay. For this problem, we will take 10 integers from the keyboard using loop and print their average value on the screen. Okay. So we will simulate first. Okay. So in this one, we have variable sum is equals to 0, I is equals to 10, sum is equals to 0, I is equals to 10. Okay. While I is greater than 0, I 10 is greater than 0, so that's true. Print enter number. Enter number. And then what I entered is num is equals to input. So num is equals to 2. Okay. Enter number. Num is equals to 2. After doing that, sum is equals to sum plus num. The value of sum is sum, which is 0, plus num, 2. Cross out 0, you replace it with 2. Okay. I is equals to I minus 1. I 10 minus 1, cross out 10, place it with 9. Okay. Then check for the condition. 9 is greater than 0, so that is true. Enter number again. So the next number is 3. Cross out 2, input 3. Sum is equals to the value of sum plus num. So 2 plus 3. Cross out 2, it will become 5. Okay. Then I is equals to I minus 1. The value of I is 9. Now it will now be cross out 9, it will now become 8. And then check for the condition. 8 is greater than 0, so that's true. Enter number again. We enter number. This time we entered 2. This should be 2. Okay. Cross out 3, enter 2. Sum is equals to sum plus num. So the value is 5. Cross out 5 plus 2 becomes 7. Okay. So you will repeat this process until you reach the last value for I. So for I, sample I, so becomes 1, 1 minus 1 equals 0. The 0 is not greater than 0. So the last value will be sum is 40 and the num is 4. Okay. If we try to run the program, 2, 3, 2, 5, 8, 1, 4, 5, 6, 4. Forty, sum is 40 divided by 10. The sum or the average is 4. Okay. You can also use loops to print pattern on the screen. During the early days of computer programming, especially the early days of games or graphics, users makes use of loop in order for them to print out certain designs or patterns. So in this example, we will make use of while loop to print pattern A, pattern B, and pattern C. Okay. For pattern A, what we did is I is equals to 1, while I is less than or equal to 4, print asterisk times I. So asterisk will repeat depending on the value of I. So the starting is 1. Okay. So for this one, first value will be I is equals to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 4. That's 2. So print asterisk times 1. So that is just 1 asterisk. Increment I plus 1. I becomes 2. 2 is less than or equal to 4. That's true. Print asterisk times 2, asterisk times 2. Next, increment. So I becomes 3. 3 is less than or equal to 4. That's true. Asterisk times 3. Asterisk times 3. Increment. So I becomes 4. 4 is less than or equal to 4. That's true. Asterisk times 4. That's 4. Next, increment I. I becomes 5. 5 is less than or equal to 4. So that's false. So we exit the while. Next, for B. B is quite complicated. So please bear with me on how this was treated. So first is while I is less than or equal to 1, I is equals to 1, j is equals to 2. A is equals to space times j plus asterisk times I plus space times j. So actually what's happening here is that the asterisk has a space, so we are not seeing it. But if we run the code, happens is that it's like creating a diamond symbol. So I is incremented by 2, while j is subtracted by 1 for each and every loop. If I is greater than 5, you break out of the loop. Then there's another pattern. I is equals to 3, j is equals to 1, while I is greater than or equals to 1, a is equals to space times j plus asterisk times I plus space times j. Print the value of a. I is equals to I minus 2, j is equals to j plus 1. For the third pattern, what I did here was I just loop it up to 4 times using decrement. So my starting value for x is 4, and then I decrement by 1 each and every loop, or 1 each and every loop. And then a is equals to 1 times the value of x plus 0 times x minus 1. And then we print the value of a, and then we decrement x. So if we run the program, this will be the pattern. So you could use Python to actually create text designs or text patterns. You also have factorial of any number. So factorial of any number n is represented by n exclamation and is equal to 1 times 2 times 3. Sample. 4 factorial is equal to 1 times 2 times 3 times 4, which is 24. And then 2 factorial is equal to 2 times 1, which is equal to 2. Also 1 factorial and 0 factorial is 1. In order for us to create the factorial, what we need is to get the input from the user as to what number will be factorial, what number will be processed. Then we declare a variable called number inside our input. And then we have FAC variable, which is equals to 1. If number is equals to 0, print 1. If it is not, while number is greater than or equal to 1, factorial is equal to factorial times number. Number is equal to number times 1, number minus 1. Or just write like that. And then it will be faster. Then print the value of variable FAC. Example 4 factorial 24. That's right. 4 factorial is 24. How about 0, then there is 1. For the last problem, we will be doing a simple rock and paper scissors game. The rock, paper, scissors game, they will be represented by the numbers 3, 2, and 1. So the rule is 3 beats 2, 2 beats 1, and 1 beats 3. Okay? So that will be like the loop. So this is very basic. What we will do is that the program will continue to ask for your input and then generate a value for the computer input as long as you are winning. But if you have lost 3 times, the program will display game over. Okay. Now, for this sample, we will use two import libraries. The first one is random in order for us to generate a random integer from 1 to 3. And then next, we also use import time simply because we are going to sleep or delay the program. Okay, it will sort of like pause the program in order for us to see that the computer is sort of like selecting a particular number. Otherwise, the program will run without this one. However, it will not pause if you remove this function. Okay, so we set the value of lives is equals to 3. And then while the value of life is greater than 0, this entire loop is repeated. So for the loop, variable comp will accept the random number from 1 to 3, while variable you will accept input from the user. If the value of comp and u is the same, we will print high, and then it will repeat again. If not, and if the computer is 1 and your value is 3, we deduct -1 to your lives, and then it will tell you that the computer won. Using percentage %d, we will display the value of your variable and then the computer variable. Take note when using a percentage %d with printf, what you should do is first enclose your string in double quote. Next, percentage %d represents number, specifically decimal. Percentage f is percentage d represents integer. Percentage f represents decimal numbers, and percentage s represents string. In order for you to display it after your last double quotation, place a percentage sign and then open close parenthesis. Inside that, place your variables. So you can place many variables here, 4, 5, 6. Depends on you, but also remember the greater the number of variables here, the longer the string that you will have here. So as much as possible, try to limit the variables that you will display. Okay, so again, the rule is double quote. Inside that, you use percentage %d for integer, percentage %f for decimal or float, and percentage %s for string. And then, after the last quotation mark, you place quotation in the open close parenthesis. Inside that open close parenthesis, you provide the variable name. If there are multiple variables, separate them by comma. Okay, if computer is 1 and you're 3, lives -1, and then it will display that the computer 1. If the computer is 1 and then your value is not 3, meaning it can either be 2, will say that you won. Okay, if the computer is not 1 and you are 1 and the computer is 3, you win. If not, you lose. If you are not 1 and your value is greater than the computer, it will say that you won. If not, you lose, and then you have 1 life. At the end of the loop, after you have lost all of your life, it will display game over. So let us try again. Select one, computer one, one, one again. Computer wins. I have only one life left. One. Okay, computer wins, so game over. That is the simple logic using loop. Actually, guys, for repeating programs like games, loops are mostly used in order for you for them to check if your character is still alive at the time, still has some time left, if the goal has been reached within a specific time, if you have still balance, etc., etc. So it's like a universal logic. Okay, so you can use this template in order for you to make the group assignment that I have posted on our Canvas site. So kindly check, and then your class president will provide a randomizer so that each group will have a selected topic, only one topic each group. Okay, so that will be all. If you have any questions with regards to our topic for this week, kindly message me at our Discord chat. Thank you and good day.